So for now, I think what I'm going to do is turn off the compression and just run through some different samples with this setup. So let's go. All of that noise is coming from the fuzz, isn't it? Yeah. Well, that's this module. It's a wonderfully noisy module, but it's got that background, that line noise as well. Okay, so yeah, let's go for the little green spirits one more time. Necessary. Okay, lovely stuff. So, you noticed we were fiddling with the blend knob there, bringing the blend back a little bit. Seemed to give us just a little bit more subtlety with that sound. Okay, I think this next one is from Esoteric Mechanisms. Esoteric Mechanism? Anyway. Okay. Well, one thing I'm noticing there is that we're not getting as much definition from the, you know, like the faster parts of the licks. Dum, da, 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 do. Those high little grace notes. We don't get definition from them, except for when we're using the octave. So I'm wondering if there's some way that we can, in future, look at using the octave to add definition to the fuzz, perhaps. So let's go on to the next sample, which I believe is the Shiva one. Definitely hear how adding in some of the dry signal there gives everything a little bit more definition. This is without the Sentry. Let's try adding the Sentry in. Okay, yeah, I don't know if it's just the okay, let's see what it takes to get rid of that line noise, more or less. That song doesn't have much space in it, so the Sentry is not that, here we go, I believe that's how it was. The Sentry is not as effective or useful, perhaps, although there are other points in that song where we want more prominent silence. Okay, let's keep going. Let's have another listen. Okay, so another thought, if the compression was before the Sentry and we were using that method of making everything the same volume, so that the second method that we outlined earlier, maybe that would make it more effective, because the volumes coming at it would be more consistent. Like, I'm not sure. It could be the case that, for example, higher register stuff is louder than low register stuff because of the distance from the microphone. I don't get that impression hugely though. But anyway, I did notice the Sentry was pretty reactive at the one point in that sample where it gets quiet right before it repeats. Oh, did we use the octave on that one? We didn't. Have to use the octave. So noticing one more time that using the octave circuit did seem to clean up the response quite noticeably. Like the Sentry was able to respond far more effectively when the octave circuit was on with the fuzz. Okay, let's go on to that next clip then, that next sample. Just a quick note about how much adding in the dry signal cleans things up. Definitely worth having there. Let's dive back in. Sentry doing its job. Let's try the octave now. Yeah, we like the blend backed off just a little there for the octave circuit, for sure. Okay. I included that sample because I wanted something with space in it that would give the noise gate a chance to shine, and it does indeed seem to be shining. Yeah, very nice. Let's move on to the last couple of samples, both from Shabaka Mountain Jam, and here we go. something quite interesting there that we followed along with. One of the phrases there, da da da, is more weak. It has a weaker tone because of where it is on the instrument, and I mean, ideally, that would be something to improve on the instrument, you know, in my playing. But it was coming across as weaker through the fuzz because of that weaker tone. And using the compression, we were able to even it out a little bit so that it all was at the same volume. And that was using the second of those two approaches that we outlined earlier, where basically we squash everything so that it's at similar volumes. So yeah, that was an interesting little exploration there. Okay, let's go on to the last sample. It is indeed the last sample. Okay, here we go. Okay, yeah, that's all very nice there. So there was something that I was going to mention from that last sample, where it would be nice to have maybe just like a smidge of reverb on this after it's been through everything. Maybe that is something that would sweeten things a little bit, give it a little bit more space, a little bit more depth. So yeah, that's definitely something to think about. I'm enjoying this a great deal. I'm very happy with how this is going. And I think what I'm going to do is take a little break and come back and do some more with a different module. So hope this has been interesting. Stick around for the next part, please, and yeah, stay well.